Hey, what's going on everyone? And today I am here to revisit the Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom movie trailer. So my last video that I put out was a breakdown on the trailer that was released last week. Now in that video I did keep it spoiler free. I skipped over several scenes where in the trailer where I couldn't really talk about them without getting into plot details about what happens. And that was appreciated by some, but there were also some requests from people like, oh, I wish there was a spoiler version of this so we could talk about, the whole thing. There were several requests for that, so I just decided I'm gonna make a whole nother video. I'm gonna do a spoiler version where I can actually talk about every scene in the trailer. I'm not going to be recapping the whole volume. I don't do that kind of stuff. If you want to know everything in the volume word for word, you're gonna have to read it yourself. But I'll basically just get a little more into the weeds as to what's going on in every scene and give context to the things that are actually happening in the trailer. And I'm gonna put spoilers in the title, and I'm gonna put spoilers in the description. And I know there's still gonna be someone going like, you should have warned about spoilers, but I'll just go ahead and say after this point in the video there will be spoilers for this upcoming movie at this point forward, so proceed at your own decision. This is your own discretion here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the spoiler breakdown of the trailer. So starting off, we have this first scene with what I believe is a delegation from the Robo Holy Kingdom meeting with Ainz in the Sorcerer Kingdom. This visit to the Sorcerer Kingdom actually happens after that initial assault by the demi-humans. Basically what happens is they are sending a delegation with Remedios and also this new character Nia, or Nea, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Nea and Remedios are sent as part of this, party from the Robo Holy Kingdom to discuss receiving aid from the Sorcerer Kingdom. They also visit the Riestes Kingdom beforehand in the light novel, and they end up making their way to the Sorcerer Kingdom after they visit the Riestes Kingdom. And so basically what this first scene in the trailer is showing is Nea and Remedios and their delegation arriving at the Sorcerer Kingdom, being greeted by Albedo. And then we move on to seeing this army, and this I believe is the demi-human army. There's actually a couple battles in this arc, so I can't say for sure what battle it is. I think this scene with Demiurge standing here with all the dead knights around him, I believe this is like the first initial assault that happens. Basically there's a confrontation between Demiurge and a lot of the knights, along with the Holy Queen, and Remedios is in there too. Remedios is the head of the Paladin Order, so she's pretty much always in some sort of fight or something like that. So then we get to this next scene, and this is where Nea, Remedios, and the whole delegation actually meets with Ainz. This is his outfit that he's wearing when he meets the Robo Holy Kingdom. Basically they are just, like I said, they are requesting aid from the Sorcerer Kingdom, which Ainz does agree to give. Nea is shown a lot in this trailer, and for good reason. Nea is basically the main character of this arc of the show. Besides Ainz, she's the main New World character. It always seems like there's one of those in pretty much every arc. In the first arc, you could say it was Enri, and then in the second arc, you would say it's Enfiria, and then Zaryusu of the Lizardmen, and so on and so forth. So in this one, the New World main focus character is Nea. Nea and Ainz actually develop quite an interesting dynamic and relationship throughout the course of the whole arc. She's just amazing. Nea is a very well-liked character, and for good reason. She's awesome. And the dynamic that develops between her and Ainz throughout the arc is great to watch as well. So this is just their first meeting is what they're showing in this part of the trailer. And so actually this scene with Remedios, where Remedios is saying, demons or undead, whichever side gets wiped out, it's good for us, right? This scene actually takes place after Ainz has agreed, yes, we will, send troops and everything like that and help you out and with dealing with this demi-human problem. And yeah, obviously this is all a ruse that, because Yaldabaoth Demiurge is the one that's organized the demi-humans. And so Remedios is basically saying Ainz is this undead kingdom, and then, the demi-humans have the demons, so either side, whatever. So now we have this scene with Kellart, and then we also see, this scene with the angels attacking Demiurge with Remedios sitting right there. And then we also have Kalka being shown here as well. This is the very beginning of Volume 12. It's the initial assault on the Robo Holy Kingdom. So that's basically the structure of how the volume is basically it starts off with this initial assault by the demi-humans and demiurge, and then there's this big battle scene, and then afterwards it changes like to an undetermined amount of time later, and it shows Nea and Remedios going to the Sorcerer Kingdom to ask for help. And then there's more conflicts after that, which are also shown in this trailer. And then we have this scene here where you can see an army and then this big wall, and then there's this giant hole in it. What separates the whole Robo Holy Kingdom from the demi-human planes is this ginormous wall. It's called the Great Wall.
A big, beautiful, powerful wall.
And like basically the volume starts off with Demiurge just approaching the wall, and he kills a couple people that are manning it, and then he drops he drops a meteor on the wall, which I think is what it's showing right here, is that giant hole formed in the wall was from Demiurge's meteor spell. And then this army, you know, comes through, and so this is the initial assault on the Robo Holy Kingdom. I believe this will be probably the first scene in the movie, is all this is what's going to happen, because it's like the very first things that happen in volume 12. This, I believe, happens, it's been a while since I've reread the volumes. I need to reread those volumes. This scene right here with the goat man holding this person hostage, this I believe happens later on during a second assault. So basically at this point in the story, the demi-humans have pretty much moved past, like they've moved into the Robo Holy Kingdom, and they're like now going to be taking like more cities, but like they've broken through their main defensive line at this point. What I believe is going on in this scene is there's an assault happening on a city. This is after Ainz has been involved in the story, so this is after the delegation has, you know, spoken to the Sorcerer Kingdom, secured some aid from them. This is basically these goat people are holding these people hostage as like human shields, to try and get them to, you know, make acquiesce and like give up the city and stuff like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is there are multiple conflicts, battle scenes that are going to be happening in this movie, these volumes. It's this arc, it's not just one or two big confrontations, there's several. So this is a very action-packed arc for sure. Moving on, we have more scenes with Nea, and then we have this scene with the which it's like the arrows shooting the wall. That I believe is, once again, I think that's in the second battle scene. We just see a bunch of action scenes, and it seems to be a mix of the initial fight in volume 12 and then the later fight in volume 13. So and then we also see Nea. Her and Ainz speak like one-on-one several times. Like I said, she's like the main New World character. She becomes like this big leading force in the Robo Holy Kingdom because of Ainz's influence. And yeah, you can see Ainz has showed up. Ainz shows up like eventually and fights like himself against like some of the demi-humans. So I think that's what they're showing here, is like how he's arrived, because you can see the destruction in the background. So he's arrived. Okay, so now we get to hear this little thing with this demon face. In the initial fight scene, the initial conflict, this is pre-Ainz entering the story. So Demiurge invades the capital and has this confrontation with Remedios and Calca and a bunch of the knights and everything like that in the Robo Holy Kingdom. He has this fight with them, and he basically fakes getting blown away by Remedios, and while he's blown away, he basically reemerges as this creature. Basically, this creature pretends like, oh, I am Yaldabaoth in my true demon form. That is not actually Demiurge. What this creature actually is, this is Evil Lord Wrath. This is one of Demiurge's subordinates on the 7th floor. I believe we saw him in season 1. I may be mistaken on that. Basically pretending to be like the true form of Yaldabaoth, who like emerges from like the rubble of where Demiurge like knocked himself into. And so that's what this creature is. It's Wrath is the name, and all of Demiurge's subordinates on the 7th floor, I should say, have like 7 deadly sins names. And then we end the final scene here with this, you know, scene getting blown down. I believe that is Ainz, and it says the Sorcerer King is dead. And obviously this is a ruse. This is not true. Anyone who's watched season 4 could tell you that it's not true, because he's alive in, you know, the later parts of season 4, which take place after this part. So what this actually is something that Ainz has orchestrated with Demiurge before this whole conflict has gone down. What he's basically doing is he wants to test how, like, the people in Nazarick will react to news of his death. Like, he's basically using this as like a test case scenario. Like, if I died, what would be the prime response of people in Nazarick? He just wants to find out what this is. Obviously, this isn't true. It's just like it's just basically a way for him to, like, just test a scenario out and see what happens. Also, there was one more thing here. I'm not 100% positive. Maybe this is, I think maybe this scene with Nia, or Nate, I'm sorry, I keep saying Nia. She, at one point in the story, she leads an attack, or a defense, against some demi-humans and is killed, but she gets resurrected by Ainz. So I think maybe that face on her is like post-resurrection. Ainz actually resurrects her, which he doesn't do lightly in the New World. So that's definitely that's another reason that develops their relationship even further, and their dynamic is, you know, Ainz has resurrected her and brought her back to life after she was killed. So yeah, I'm going through here. There's a lot of flashes like of like conflict and everything. But like I've already explained that, like, yes, it's like either the first conflict or the second conflict. Like, there's just flashes of these other like battles that happen later on in a different city in the Robo Holy Kingdom, like after the initial invasion. It's a short trailer, so there's just, even with going into spoilers, like there's just not too much I can say. But guys, so that is the spoiler breakdown of the trailer. Going into more, I guess you could view this as a supplemental material to the previous one. Now, I did obviously spoil like some big things, like about like, oh, the Sorcerer King is dead is obviously just a ruse. It's an act. It's not real. A lot of people could probably already deduce that if they've seen season 4, so I don't really view that as a huge spoiler. I guess the main thing is just giving you some more context as to what is actually happening. It's just flashes of lots of fighting and images and just like random shit. All of this stuff just seems completely disconnected, you know, if you don't have any context. But like, now that I have given a little bit more spoilery context here about like what's actually happening in the story, I feel like it makes a lot more sense. So hopefully you guys get something out of this, and it makes a little more sense. But yeah, there's a lot of conflicts that go on in this thing. It's a multi-staged conflict that happens over the course of this entire arc. I can't remember. There's definitely more than 2 like big battle scenes that happen in this arc. So that's something I'm excited to see in the movie, is just like how they animate that action. So guys, what did you think of this additional breakdown? I hope you enjoyed it with the spoiler information that I included this time around. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and with any questions, hopefully I can answer them, and I want to hear your thoughts as well. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see another one like it, please like the video to let me know. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out more than you know, and it'll let you know when I post in the future. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching to the very end of the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye!